This video is brought to you by Squarespace. Welcome back, everyone. In this video, we are going to look at some viewer work that has been sent in. I've got a couple zines, and I've also got a photo book that's really awesome. I do want to note a couple things. So 3 of these zines are actually from students who took my zine course. And the interesting thing about zines, this has become something that's very popular for photographers who want to explore a medium of their work. And what's interesting is zines have a long culture that don't necessarily pair up with photography until more recently. And so a lot of photographers will approach zines as if they are photo portfolios, which works. There's nothing wrong with that. But one of the things that I don't see a lot of is people who actually approach something a little bit more like a zine, which is going to be more special interest, a little more abstract, I think, in some ways, and experimental. And so this first one that I want to share with you, and I am really proud of this guy because this came out great. This is from David Wright, who took my zine workshop this summer. This is called Tangled, and the concept for this came about when he found a box of old memories, stuff that was in this box from many years ago. And what I want to do is read you a little bit of the intro here. It says jumbled memories. And David writes in here, human memory, where is it? How does it work? I didn't realize at the time I made the first series of complex compositions and suggested that it portrayed how memories formed and changed through time, maturity, new knowledge, that I was closer to what really happened in the brain than I imagined. In Adventures from Memory, Otsby and Otsby from 2018, they state that on page 17, every time we recall a memory, the hippocampus is involved and overwrites the original memory, each time with a slightly new interpretation or reconstruction. Page 24, ordinarily, memories reside within a large brain network. When memories enter our brain, they attach themselves to similar memories, ones of the same environment or involve the same feeling, the same music, or the same moment in history. Memories seldom swim around without connections, like a lonesome fish. Instead, they are caught in a fishing net full of other memories. When you want to recall a memory, you have a greater chance of catching it if you scoop up the other memories around it. And from page 70, memories are not static, not authoritative, not solid as mountains. They are diffuse. They move around. They collide. They are like seahorses dancing in the seagrass. Memory is constructive. It picks up fragments of an experience and builds a framework, a story about what happened. So, David, this is fantastic, my friend. I hope you're really proud of this. The printing looks excellent on here. More importantly, though, the concept is so strong with this. I love the fact that it's just a box of stuff that comes alive as he kind of portrays this through the zine. And what's interesting is this becomes the work of art in the end, and just as important as, let's say, a single photograph. And I think as photographers, we tend to shoot in that vein a lot of times. Then we're trying to piece things together later. And I love that this was approached as a body of work on the whole. So I will link up to David and everybody else that I'm showing in the show description below. Support your fellow colleagues on this, David. This is awesome. Okay, so next up, I want to share with you something that is very different than what we just saw, but equally cool. So this comes to us from Paul Totlin, who has taken zine workshops from me twice now. This is called Prelude, a first look at 16 tales from around the work. Paul does something very interesting the way he approaches a zine. So essentially what he does is he uses these as demos for what become books later on. And he did that with his first book that he did. He took my zine workshop and we worked out some pacing. We worked on layout, kind of how the approach would be. And then he kind of took that and ran with it and did a full book in the end. This is the prelude, so to speak, for his next book. And he did my zine workshop so we could kind of go over this and do some coaching on it. He did a fantastic job on here. And the way this is divided up is that I'll read you a little bit of the intro here. It says, Prelude is a beginning, a preview is what is to come. It offers a first look at my upcoming photo book entitled Fashion and Editorial Photography, 16 Tales from Around the World. While the book travels across cities and continents, this zine follows a very different kind of journey, one guided by emotion rather than location. The photographs move through stillness, curiosity, boldness, and joy, or as I have come to think of them, and these are the chapter divisions in here, beginning, becoming, boldness, belonging. This is not only a prelude to the photo book, but it is a prelude to the stories still unfolding for the people featured in these pages. Many are just the beginning of their creative journeys. This zine offers an early glimpse of the talent, voice, and vision that will shape their futures. Another thing that Paul mentioned in an email to me is that he said many of the people that you see in this book, many of the models are just starting out on their creative paths, and that what the idea is that Prelude offers an early glimpse of their talent, their voices, their visions, and what is still to come. I really, really love this idea. Paul is obviously a very very strong fashion photographer. I think the print quality on here is really good. I love the fact that he's using the zine to kind of flesh out ideas that will later become the book. And the reason that I like that is back in my music days when I was in bands, we used to do demo tapes all the time, and we would come up with ideas, and it's a great way to experiment with the demo into what's actually going to become a record album, so to speak, later on. And I really kind of love that connection that I have with Paul and his work on here. And so, Paul, this is outstanding. You guys should grab a copy of this. Paul does wonderful work, and awesome work, my man. Okay, so I've got another zine with another different approach that is very awesome that I want to share with you, and this beautiful book of black and white photography. But real quick, I want to give a shout out to our sponsor this week, who are the awesome folks over at Squarespace. How easy is it to build an amazing website in a matter of minutes? Squarespace has you covered. It's dead simple. Head over to Squarespace, hit get started. You can start by selecting from an impressive collection of customizable templates, or you can do what I do, build your own. Something unique because, you're not like other websites. Give your site a name. Next, you can build your homepage. We'll start with a few preset layouts just to get us going. Want to sell products like books or prints? Well, you can feature those on your homepage. Create a few more sections if you want. Let's also give it a color palette. There's a whole bunch to choose from, and just get us started. We can change this all later. Next, let's select the typography choices. Welcome to your website. Everything is set up and it's all ready for you to customize. Squarespace is built on Fluid Engine, the next generation of website design. Select Edit, and Fluid Engine allows you to drag, place, and resize any element on the page. You can snap these to a grid, you can make them float on top of one another, you can freeform however you like. You can even preview and adjust how the site looks on either desktop or mobile. The layouts are independent. Of course, you'll want a portfolio for your work. Creating an image gallery is as easy as dropping a folder of images on your web browser. Once uploaded, you can drag to resort, customize the look, and Squarespace writes all of the code for you. Everything just works and it looks fabulous. Want to sell your own prints, books, or zines? Squarespace has the capabilities to not only set up your online store and collect payments, but they also give you all the tools that you're going to need to be successful. Managing shipping and payment options, manage your orders, and engage with your customers. They even give you the tax tools that you need to keep things organized and stay compliant. You should try Squarespace for yourself. It's absolutely free, no credit card required. Just go to squarespace.com/AOP, sign up for that free trial. If you decide Squarespace is right for you, I can save you an additional 10% on your order by using offer code AOP on checkout. That's right, the code is AOP. So stop procrastinating, go build your website today. And I want to give a special shout out and thanks to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Okay, so next up, we've got a zine of street images. This is a wonderful concept around this. This is The Last Bargain. It comes to us from Eric Davidove. I'm going to paraphrase this a little bit, and I'll read you a little of his intro. He came up with this concept to do street photography around this flea market that was near him that was going to be closing soon. And so it was a little bit of an homage to a place that he enjoyed. And you're going to love this. There's a sense of humor that permeates this book. Let me read a little of his intro here from the zine. It says, The Last Bargain. Established in 1960, the San Jose flea market has been a cultural cornerstone of the Silicon Valley in Northern California. For decades, it has provided affordable goods, food, and entertainment while fostering a strong sense of community for immigrant families and working-class residents. It's become both a marketplace and a meeting ground, a vibrant ecosystem where commerce and culture intertwined. In 2021, developers purchased the land with plans for large-scale, quote-unquote, urban villages, featuring housing, retail, and office space. Supporters view the project as a solution to the region's housing shortage and an opportunity for economic growth. Critics fear it will erase one of the area's last remaining enclaves of grassroots culture and working-class history. The market's future remains uncertain. Potential outcomes include a relocation or a drastically reduced footprint, leaving its legacy hanging in the balance. What was once a bustling landmark now exists in transition. It's partly alive, partly disappearing. This photographic series contains candid scenes and overlooked details, sprinkled with humor, humanity, and surrealism, moments that risk being lost in the name of progress. So Eric, my man, this is outstanding. I hope you're really happy with this. I think the print quality looks really good. I think your layout is awesome. Typography is great. This came out really good. More importantly, though, I do want to talk about the photography in here, and this is kind of interesting because when people sign up to take my zine workshop, we do talk about photography, but it's more or less assembling a cohesive project in mind, getting the layout squared away, getting pairings worked out, and then actually the technical process of getting it printed. So it's not really a photography course, it's more of a publishing course. But what's interesting is, I just want to say this because this is what I'm really impressed with. I love Eric's work. Street photography is really difficult in the current day, and I see so much of it. And I think there's sort of a sameness to a lot of things. I get it. You're in a major US city, you're of our time, and there's a certain thread that you kind of see in a lot of people's work. And so I don't really see a lot of street photography that includes something new. Eric has something interesting to say with this. I think the sense of humor permeates throughout this. It pays homage to the language of photography that comes before him, but at the same time takes it in a new place. And so Eric, you've done a wonderful job on this. You guys really should pick up a copy of this. This is outstanding. You know, I often get asked if we have any zine workshops that are coming up on the horizon, and we do not at the moment. However, I am planning on scheduling some coming up. So if you want to stay in touch and be alerted when those are available, I will announce them obviously in these videos, so stay tuned here. But you can also sign up to the mailing list, and I'll put the link below that in the description as well. This guy did not take my zine course, but he made a hell of an awesome book here. So I want to share this with you. This is called My Search. This comes to us from Sajeesh, Radhakrishnan, and there is no note included here, but I will read you some of the intro to this book. This is outstanding work, by the way. It says, My Search. Some moments pass, some hold us still, refusing to drift away. What remained in those pauses become photographs, but to share what I felt needed words. And Thedal, or My Search, is my attempt to bring the seen and the felt together. Each poem in this collection was born through quiet conversations with the wind, with the waves, and with the silence of a glance, or the shiver of a memory. In some poems you might find meaning, in others the beauty or the search itself. This is a gathering of the fragments from my journey, not answers, but an invitation to walk alongside me. I want to share you one of the poems in here so you can kind of see how the words and the images mix together. This is the one of the two heads upside down here. This says, Scattered bits of earth softened in water are gathered and shaped. In the sculptor's hands, the clay runs as mixture, pressed and guided into form. Through ridges and curves, through rising and falling lines, a face begins to appear, refined by touch, settled into expression. Then in color, she begins to take form. Durga, not yet adorned, not yet complete. Until the ornaments are placed, she remains becoming. And in that time, the warmth of the sun and its patient embrace, the clay begins to change. Slowly, through light and waiting, it turns sacred. In the sun's quiet love, the clay becomes a goddess. Rajesh, this is outstanding, my friend. I've seen poetry combined with images before, but I really love the way that you've done it. Your photographs are outstanding. I love the simplicity of this, and you've got a lot of stuff going on in here, and there's really not a lot to critique. I mean, you've got poetry in here in 2 languages, and you're supplementing those with photographs, and you keep a consistent format here. It gets interesting to keep going through here. I really don't have any criticism on here at all. This is absolutely fantastic. You guys should get a copy of this and support my man here. This is really good work. What's interesting is I try to critique these days with a lot of these mail time things, and there really wasn't a lot of critique in here. This is exceptional. And then I've already critiqued and worked one-on-one with the folks that took my zine workshops. But anyway, I want to congratulate everybody who sent stuff in. This has been a fun day today. I will catch you guys in the next video. Until then, later.